What is up, guys? Welcome back to yet another brand new Major Ben gaming video. I hope you guys are having an awesome day as always. Today we're talking some Xbox news, some good news about the revenue actually being up for Xbox, and some bad news about the sales of the consoles actually going down. Now, before everyone starts getting really amped up in the comments and saying that I'm a PlayStation fanboy, I'm not. I might be playing Spider-Man 2 in the background there, but I love Xbox, and if you go on my channel, you can actually see that I split everything equally. I enjoy all platforms, okay? I really do. If you watch my channel, you'd know I play everything from Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, PC. I'm not biased to any single one, and if anything, the biggest video I have on my channel is about Xbox, and it was about how I was going to play my main games on Xbox this generation. So, just to give it a bit of context, this is not an insulting thing about Xbox. I'm just talking about what's going on in gaming news. That's all it is, okay? Just calm down before we all attack me for just saying something negative about Xbox, even though we said plenty positive about them in the past. So anyway, the revenue for Xbox is actually up. The overall Microsoft gaming revenue has actually increased to 51% compared to Q3 of 2023, but 55% of that increase came from, obviously, Activision Blizz. In other words, gaming would actually be down 4% with all that delicious Call of Duty revenue now pouring in. Overall, Xbox content and services revenue was up 62%, with 61 of those points coming from Activision. So obviously we knew that this was going to happen, but this is interesting because this is before we've actually seen any Activision Blizzard games like the Call of Duty stuff. Obviously we've had Diablo now in Game Pass and things, but we haven't had any of the Call of Duty titles. And personally, I do think having the Call of Duty titles in Xbox, and especially having them day one in Game Pass, is going to be huge for Xbox, because if they don't up your subscription fee, you can pretty much say that Game Pass is around about £120 in the UK at least, or $120, I don't know what it is in America, but £120 in the UK a year. Call of Duty normally costs £70 every year anyway, and certainly for me, I play a ton of that. So having a £70 game every year already covers over half of the figure that I would normally be paying in a year for Game Pass. So if I play one other game, one other £70 game, I've saved money in terms of on Game Pass PC and Xbox as well. So it would be great if they do that, and I can genuinely see and genuinely say from my experience of talking to colleagues and friends that they would buy an Xbox based on the fact that they play Call of Duty a lot, because it will genuinely save them money over the years from Game Pass. Anyway, going forward, so meanwhile, sales of the Series X and S was down by 31% year on year, with Microsoft expecting further declines next quarter. It should be noted that Xbox sales have been sliding for some time now. In fact, they dropped 30% in Q3 of last year too. Yeah, one has to go back to early to mid 2022 to see any real growth in Xbox sales. This would seem to be consistent with recent reports from retailers that Xbox sales are flatlined, to the point some publishers are questioning the work and expense required to port games to the Xbox Series X and S. Now, this is something that I think people's general comment, and what I would get in the comments down below, is people say, well, Microsoft don't care about sales because they want to push Game Pass numbers. Now, that's very conflicting information, because to push Game Pass numbers, you need to have platforms to play Game Pass on. And increased sales of Xbox, if Xbox was selling the equivalent sales as PlayStation, their Game Pass numbers would still be growing, because more people who haven't got a Series X or a console, or an Xbox console, sorry, would be subscribing to Game Pass, because that's what you do when you kind of get an Xbox. That's the done thing now. So in the end of the day, increased sales to the point where it was like PlayStation would see increased Game Pass numbers. So yes, absolutely, Microsoft do care about sales, and not to mention this thing here with publishers actually questioning the work and expense required to develop a port for the console shows that sales matter, because if you aren't selling enough consoles, people aren't going to make games for that platform. It is extremely expensive to make games, especially the Series S. People have already talked about how some Series S games, getting them to run on Series S has been extremely expensive, extremely difficult, because it is such a lower powered system. It's not a case of just scaling back resolution like people thought, because with Unreal Engine 5, you don't just scale back resolution. There's a lot of things that have to change to get a Series S port to run. The Alan Wake developers actually talked about this with their recent port. They actually did a fantastic job with Series S, but it cost them a lot of money. And there are smaller studios who are now looking at this, and I expect us to see less and less indie games coming to Series X and S. Like we're already seeing, there's a lot of games only coming to PlayStation because that development cost isn't worth it. There's the platform. Yeah, the Series platform is big. Like, it's not small. Like, we can't just turn around and say it's only tens of thousands of units. It's not. It's millions. But in the end of the day, that development cost, the amount of people who might buy an indie game on a Series X is probably not worth it unless they have some sort of big Game Pass deal for that indie title to be on Game Pass. So it does matter. People who say that sales don't matter for Microsoft are just shilling for that company. They absolutely do matter, because, and you should care, because you're going to see less developers wanting to publish games on a platform that's gradually decreasing every year, and is not seeing growth like PlayStation. Even PlayStation's console growth is like not where it should be, because I think PlayStation have overprojected sales and they want them to do better, but they are still selling enough systems for it to be very worthwhile publishing games on. So it's kind of very different. Xbox need to have a big selling machine because it's going to be a problem otherwise. I've said it before, but it seems like Microsoft is at a crossroad when it comes to gaming. On one hand, they're now one of the biggest and potentially most lucrative third-party publishers around. On the other, they still have this first-party Xbox business that seems like it's running on fumes. Microsoft has already started bringing some former executives to other platforms, exclusives, sorry, to other platforms, and I suspect there's more to come. Microsoft always follows the money, and for them, third party is now where the money is. And I think this whole strategy, I think, is just being done. I'm just giving my opinions. You don't have to agree. It's fine to disagree, but I'm just giving my opinion on this. I think they've done it too soon. I think what happened this generation is we were built up to have so many phenomenal games. Xbox was having bigger titles coming to its platform than PlayStation. We had huge titles like Starfield. Let's talk about just the upcoming ones like Hellblade, Avowed, Indiana Jones. Like, those three games on PlayStation, there's really not that much first-party IP coming out this year. There's really not. You've got an amazing year for Xbox now, but most of those PlayStation guys are now already thinking, because I see it on X and I see people talking about it again. My colleagues, my friends talk about this. They ask me, is there any point buying an Xbox for these titles? And I say, well, I don't know at the moment, because it could be just 1 year down the road that we get those titles on the PlayStation console anyway. There's already talks about Starfield coming to PlayStation platform, and if we base it on what we've seen the last 4 games that are coming to PlayStation, they're going to run better on the PlayStation anyway. Now, that might be bugs and whatever versions being outdated. That doesn't change the fact that those versions right now are better on PlayStation. Like, it's baffling that that's been allowed to happen. I don't know why it's happening with the more powerful system. And then also, you've got a PlayStation 5 Pro coming out. Whenever my friends say, should I go and buy an Xbox for some of these games, I say, to be honest, you might want to wait for a PS5 Pro. Those Starfield might come to PlayStation. It won't be 60 FPS, I don't think, on a PS5 Pro, but I think you get something. I think you definitely get something if they want to put an enhanced label on it. So I don't know. I think Xbox is in a very weird space, and I wish they'd just given it a go of being highly aggressive with exclusive titles just for a decent amount of time to win some people over to their platform. And then when everybody starts releasing games on other platforms, then I think then would be a good time to go and do that, when it's actually become a normal thing in the industry. I think Xbox always thinks so far ahead, and they want to just bring games to other platforms where they're genuinely killing the Xbox brand a little bit at the moment, because people aren't seeing the point in going and buying an Xbox and subscribing to Game Pass when they've already got a £450 PlayStation, there it is, and they can just play those games that are now coming there anyway. Like, I don't think Phil always understands the people who actually are buying consoles. And I'm in the UK, so you guys know how big PlayStation is in the UK. Everybody you talk to who's a gamer buys a PlayStation in the UK, or 90% of us, they have PlayStations because of the exclusives like Spider-Man. So, those people won't go and spend £400 or £450 on an Xbox console, especially when their games are coming over to this platform, which means they don't get an Xbox sub, they don't get a console purchase, so that person's not locked into buying their games. They will get a sale of the game. Obviously, they will sell a copy of Sea of Thieves on PlayStation, which is great. But this just ties into, is that what Microsoft's plan is, to just go third party going forward? Is that their plan? Because to me, all the signs are here. All the signs are here. I don't see us having... I think we'll definitely get another Xbox console because they've already talked about that. But I genuinely think after that, they're going to have a cloud gaming machine. And I think the next Xbox could be the last one because I don't see people even feeling the need to go into the even this next generation that's coming up in 2026 or 2028, whatever it is. I don't see people feeling the need to buy an Xbox, because their games are going to be coming to PlayStation anyway, and people aren't in financial positions these days to buy two consoles straight away. They'll just have the games coming to the platform that they will purchase for the good games, and that's PlayStation. That's realistic. So thank you for watching. I think that's it for this one. I don't think we need to say any more. Have an awesome weekend. Tell me what games you're playing this weekend in the comments below. I am actually not sure I want to play this weekend. I'm still waiting for this Immortals of Avium. I've got it installed ready because it was on PlayStation Plus, or the free games of the month, I think it was actually, or is this month. Anyway, I got that downloaded because I'm waiting for that FSR3 frame generation patch. I'm going to do the same on Xbox, and I think we'll do a video on that when we actually have that, because I'm so curious to see how frame generation, for the first time ever, is going to run on these consoles. So I'm excited for that. But thank you for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, let me know what you're playing this weekend down below, and I'll see you on Monday's video. Bye-bye for now.